I love that everybody hates Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
And Carlos will do and talk about anything on the radio. We had Carlos talking about almost killing himself over the Rogan stuff.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. Like we've had him. He brings it up.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's the most honest guy, and then I believe Carlos is married and has kids and all that stuff, but then talks about banging girls for hours. Like he'll talk about anything. We love it, and I don't care what anybody says.
You're like, this is good radio.
Yeah. And then
I get that.
So when Bert and Jay got into some heat, I immediately turned on Jay and was like, because my Bert is my guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when Jay, I trashed Jay pretty hardcore on the air, and it wasn't just because of that. Like he was a dick to. He said something to Ralphie that pissed me off one day, and I destroyed him. And his agent called me out of, hey buddy, and I'm like, no, not happening, Frosty. And then Jay's like, what's the problem? I go, call the show and we'll talk about it. And it was an hour of me just telling him what a horrible human being he was, and he took every ounce of it, agreed with it, and apologized, and the next day sent me a dozen roses. And I went, all right. Then years later, he's coming in through town, and I'm like, I actually call Bert and I go, my dedication is to you. I won't have him on if you're like, I hate him. And Bert's like, no, I don't care at all. I'm like, okay. So I had him on the show and we talked to him, and he was like Mencia. So he's like, I'm so mentally beaten down that I've ruined relationships over it. He brought you up. He's like, I don't talk to Tom. I don't talk to Bert. He goes, I wish I had the opportunity to apologize to them and you don't get that kind of honesty from somebody. And I said, Jay, You're famous. You've been on TV. You've been in movies. You're in goddamn Jerry Maguire. Now you're single. Let's do this. Let's get back out on the road. And he goes, I can't. I'm so mentally messed up that I have erectile dysfunction. And I'm like, that's the honesty you don't get from guests.
Yeah, so that level of honesty is also awesome on radio, right?
Yeah.
Like, having that. And he was, by the way, always, let's say, prior to feeling beaten down and all that, great radio guy.
Yeah.
I guess when he would guest.
His impressions and all that.
Yeah. He would there's different approaches, I think, as when you study guests in radio. And he was like, I remember watching and seeing how different people do it. Like Jay would had the take over the room thing where he would go in and be like,
which doesn't always work.
Yeah. But if you can pull it off, it's like a magic trick almost, Right. And then like Fitzsimmons, I don't know if you
we love Fitzsimmons.
Very funny guy. He'll do the thing where like you think you're interviewing, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, he's interviewing me right now. He's good at that.
So
and he does it slick too.
He asked me a question one time, and I answered it, and I go, I can't believe I just answered that. And he goes, last time I was here, you said the same thing. I go, you got me twice.
He's
talking
that
about my wife.
Yeah.
You asked me, I was like, how did that just happen?
Turns it around.
Yeah, he's good.
It's like a skill set.
Yeah.
And both guys who wound up doing radio.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.